Members, we're going to come to order. I'll ask all members to come to the floor. We're going to get started on some privilege resolutions. I'm going to ask the clerk if he'll ring the bell.
Honoring the life.
Wait a minute. No, I didn't ask you that, Mr. Clerk. You got to listen to me. You never pay attention to me, Mr. Clerk. Even when I try to trip you up like I did then, would you ring the bell, please? Members will all come to the floor. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to a group of privilege resolutions? Suspend just for a moment. Members, if you have a page today, we will go ahead and take some page photos. So if you have a page today, I'll invite you to come up front now while the clerk is reading these privilege resolutions. May I say the caption again, Mr. Clerk? I wouldn't want you to have to read the entire resolution. So, Mr. Clerk, the gentleman's recognized.
Honoring the life and memory of Marcus Messiah Garvey. Honoring the life and memory of John Allen Dickerson, Sr. Honoring the life and memory of Mike Stuckey. Honoring the life and memory of Dr. F. Hugh Kirby. Honoring the life and memory of Larry C. Warnock. Honoring the life and memory of Buck Chapman. Honoring the life and memory of Shepard Green III. Commending the East Lawrence Lady Falcons basketball team for their victory in the GHSA Class A Division I Girls State Championship, recognizing September 16th, 2026 as National Ovarian Cancer Awareness Day at the state capitol. Recognizing March 31st, 2026 as Morrow Day at the state capitol, recognizing, commending Lady Oliver. Recognizing September 2026, recognizing and commending Akbar Muhammad. Recognizing and commending Representative Derek Jackson, recognizing and commending Representative Jasmine Clark, recognizing and commending Representative Draper, recognizing, commending Representative Roman, recognizing and commending Representative Teddy Reese, recognizing, commending Representative Miller, recognizing, commending Representative Edna Jackson, recognizing, commending Representative Mac Jackson, recognizing, commending Representative Dewey McLean, recognizing, commending Representative Carl Gilliard, recognizing, commending Representative Park Cannon, recognizing and commending the legal externs for the 2026 regular session of the General Assembly of Georgia, commending Paulding County social workers during the National Social Workers Month, recognizing Impact Georgia Day and honoring distinguished Georgians for their contribution to the state and beyond. Honoring the life and legacy of Sister Bessie Mae Harrison Manuel. Honoring the life and legacy of Mary Ann Harrison. Commending G.J. Plug for his influential contributions to Atlantic music culture. Recognizing, commending Ann Lane Coy. recognizing and commending the honorable service of Dexter Sharper, recognizing the importance of regulated trapping, recognizing and commending New Edition for their outstanding contributions to music entertainment and for their cultural and industry impact. Recognizing and commending First Lady Sarah Reynolds Copeland, recognizing July 4, 2026 is Georgia Highland College Community Impact Day, recognizing and commending Reverend Dr. Rufus Copeland on the occasion of his 40th pastoral anniversary, congratulating and commending Atlanta Dermatology and Aesthetics, recognizing and commending Raksha Incorporated upon the celebration of his 30th anniversary, recognizing and commending Dr. Stephanie Dean Kiersey and the Georgia General Assembly Special Event Interns from Georgia State University. Recognizing and commending Chef Hank Reed, recognizing Union County as the sorghum capital of Georgia, commending Dr. Daniel A. Sims, commending Dr. Delvecchio S. Finley, recognizing and commending Teresa Labarum Mitchell, and recognizing and commending Buy Local Savannah for its enduring commitment to strengthening independent businesses and preserving the unique character and economic vitality of Savannah and Chatham County, and for other purposes. That completes the reading of the privilege resolutions.
That completes the reading of the privileged resolutions. Is there any objection to the adopting the privileged resolutions? Hearing none, the resolutions are adopted. Members, we're ready to continue moving forward. We have we have a little bit of a rules calendar this afternoon we're going to move forward with, but right now we're going to take a further action. I'm going to recognize Chairman Green for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House agree to the Senate substitute to House Resolution 1050.
Mr. Clerk will read the caption.
House Resolution 1050 by Representative Green of the 154th and others authorizing conveyance of certain state-owned property in Clayton County.
The gentleman is recognized to explain his motion.
This is our annual conveyances, and the Senate added one to what we had already passed here in the House, and that was for Floyd County, and that was for a lease for 30.5 acres, being a portion of the Georgia Northwestern Technical College campus. And we're doing that for $10 annually because it's going to be used for the public there. And that's what it does, Mr. Speaker and members of the House.
The gentleman has no questions. Thank you for your explanation. On the gentleman's motion that the House agree to the Senate substitute to House Resolution 1050, all those in favor will vote yes, those opposed will vote no, and Mr. Clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machines. On the gentleman's motion, the yeas are 156 and nays are 0. And the House has agreed to the Senate substitute to House Resolution 1050. Representative Gerald Green is recognized for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I move that the House agree to the Senate substitute to House Resolution 1051.
Mr. Clerk will read the caption.
House Resolution 1051 by Representative Green of the 154th and others authorizing the grant of non-exclusive easements for the construction, operation, and maintenance of facilities, utilities, roads, and ingress and egress in, on, over, and under various counties in the state of Georgia.
Chairman Green will explain the Senate substitute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, your committee will ask you to vote for the Senate substitute here, adding Chatham County, adding Long County and Muskogee County to those particular areas there. They didn't quite get in time for the part that we needed to send it over to the Senate, so the Senate added them over there. For Chatham County, out at Wormslow, historic site. The one in Long County is a grant to an easement in the Atlantic Waste Services, and then Muskogee County is a grant, an easement to the Flint Electric Membership Corporation. And Mr. Speaker, that's all it does in that respect, and I ask you to vote for the House Resolution 1051. Mr. Speaker, if there's no questions, I yield the well.
Thank you for the explanation. You have no questions. On the gentleman's motion that the House agree to the Senate substitute to House Resolution 1051, all those in favor will vote yes, those opposed will vote no, and Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the gentleman's motion, the yeas are 163, the nays are 0, and the House has agreed to the Senate substitute to House Resolution 1051. Members, we're going to get started on the rules calendar, believe it or not. This goes along with the invite resolution we had this morning. Chairman Lunston. Members, I want you to give the gentleman in the well your attention. He's going to explain Senate Bill 433. So give him your attention, please, when that time comes. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 443?
Senate Bill 443 by Senator Strickland of the 42nd and others, be entitled an act to amend Article 3, Chapter 2, Title 40, the official code of Georgia annotated, relating to prestige license plates and special plates for certain persons and vehicles. This bill I refer to the Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I was looking at 443. I think we're going to take up 433 is what you're going to explain to this body. So I'm going to recognize Chairman Lumsden, and he's going to speak to Senate Bill 433. Chairman Lumsden.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, I bring to you Senate Bill 433. This is a bill that addresses some issues that affect our law enforcement and first responders and those that they may encounter who are on the autism spectrum. For parents and individuals with autism spectrum disorder, a regular traffic stop can quickly escalate into a sensitive situation. Many individuals with autism have sensitivity or communication differences that might not translate well when interacting with law enforcement. After a routine traffic stop turned into a severe behavioral episode for Layla Luna's son, Rio, she knew that something could be done to better prepare law enforcement for interacting with individuals like her son. In 2024, South Carolina passed Rio's law and became the first state with an identifier license plate to alert law enforcement and first responders that someone in the vehicle is on the autism spectrum. And with your favorable vote today, Georgia will be the next. Senate Bill 433, Rio's law, will create a special license plate for persons with autism spectrum disorder and other developmental disabilities and such persons' spouses, parents, or legal guardians in Georgia. This is a tool for law enforcement. It allows responders to approach a vehicle or situation with awareness before escalation into a sensory overload for an individual with autism occurs. The plate is optional. You must have a diagnosis from a licensed practitioner to obtain the plate. You can add parents and legal guardians can also obtain the plate to ensure that those who are affected with spectrum disorder is covered. And additionally, it will create a post-certified training at the Georgia Public Safety Training Center to make law enforcement aware that they are about to encounter someone with a spectrum disorder. So that's what the bill does. I would be glad to answer any questions, and I'd appreciate your favorable consideration.
Gentleman has a couple of questions. One of them is Representative Holland. Representative Betsy Holland, to your right. To your right.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Is it not true that autism and anxiety often go hand in hand, and having an anxiety response can make it even more difficult to follow instructions from law enforcement? And this license plate is going to be a gift for autistic people to make sure they're treated more fairly by police officers.
The lady knows what she speaks.
Thank you for bringing the bill.
Gentleman, yield for another Chairlady Camp to your right as well. Over to the doors. Is recognized for a question.
Do you yield?
I do.
Thank you. Isn't it true that this type of training actually de-escalated a very heightened emotional situation for my nephew just last year as a state trooper in Ohio who had been trained in this specific line was able to de-escalate my nephew after he had a lot of challenges in a traffic stop?
I'm sure you know of what you speak.
Thank you.
Representative McDonald, Lauren McDonald to your right is recognized for a question.
Does the gentleman yield?
I yield.
Isn't it true that Connor Tolleson, he supports this bill 100%?
You are correct.
Thank you.
And to make it even more important, he's watching, so we'll see about that. The gentleman has no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
Gentleman's yielded the will. We do have a speaker. Representative Rhonda Taylor is recognized to come speak to the bill. She waves. That concludes our presentations on Senate Bill 433. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted? If so, Mr. Clerk, we'll lock the machine. On the passage of Senate Bill 433, the nays are 169, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Congratulations to our champion. Connor, thank you for your work. Appreciate your being engaged. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption of Senate Bill 306?
Senate Bill 306 by Senator Robertson, the 29th, being titled an act to amend Code Section 48.5.7.4 of the official code of Georgia, annotated relating to preferential assessment for bona fide conservation use property and bona fide residential transitional property. This bill having referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by Rules Committee substitute.
Representative Chaz Cannon is recognized to present Senate Bill 306.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have for the body today Senate Bill 306. Some quick background on the rules substitute. It's on your desk for 306. The LC number is 443555S. Basically, this is a combination of three bills. It includes the original underlying language from Senate Bill 306, which addresses the CUVA statute. It also includes original language from my bill, HB 547, which I doubt you remember, but that bill passed the House. This body here on March 6th also addresses the CUVA statute. And then finally, it includes some clarifying language from House Bill 1199 concerning the low-income housing tax credit, which the House passed last week on March 18th. I'll go through just some quick discussion of the bill. Lines 24, 26, my original language, no change. Lines 37 through 41, that is original language from the underlying bill, which addresses how to receive notice of expiring CUVA covenants. So this bill adds two new notices. One's going to be through certified mail or through email, which those two options do not exist now to the taxpayer. The only option now is through basically normal mail. Then we've got, let's see here, lines 47 through 67, again, underlying bill language. It allows a taxpayer in certain circumstances to get a refund if they can prove by a sworn affidavit that they did not receive an expiring covenant notice from the county assessor's office. Again, a win for the taxpayer. It's more notice to the taxpayer about expiring covenants. Lines 68 through 86, original language from my bill 547, no changes. Lines 105 to 111, same thing, original language to my bill, no changes there. Lines 113 through 118, this is the clarifying language from House Bill 1199 regarding the low-income tax credit. So here's the bottom line with that language. It appears the wording we passed last week needs to be cleaned up just a little bit because it could put existing projects and some that are already under construction in jeopardy of shutting down. So that's the feedback we're getting from industry. So the language included in lines 116 through 118 was approved by the Rules Committee and would accomplish the will of the House as it relates to the intent of the language. So that's the intent. We want to limit the program. We want to make sure we do it right, and we think this language does that. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I'll yield for any questions.
You have no questions. You did
I
an
yield the
excellent-
well, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very
excellent
much.
job.
That's for your favorable consideration.
Excellent job. The gentleman has yielded the well. Thank you for the presentation. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to withdrawing the committee's substitute? Hearing none, the committee's substitute is withdrawn. Is there any objection to adopting the substitute offered by the Committee on Rules? Hearing none, the Rules Committee's substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine on the passage of Senate Bill 306. 306, the yeas are 158, the nays are 9. This bill having received the requisite constitutional majority is therefore passed. All right, members, we're going to take a little break from the rules calendar. I'm going to invite all members to come to the floor. We have another one of those bittersweet moments that are part of this house and our family. I'm going to ask all members to come to the floor. If you're on the floor, you need to cease conversation and give the lady who's going to be in the well. And thank you all for y'all's patience, by the way. We appreciate y'all. Thank you. And thank you for being here. Doorkeepers, if you'll manage those doors, if there's anyone who needs to come in, let them in. If there are any conversations close to your doors, will you invite them to go to the anteroom? Members, I'm going to ask you to give the lady that's approaching the well your full attention. I really don't want to acknowledge her, but I guess it's my duty. Chairlady Lynn Smith is recognized to speak to her family in the house. Chairlady Smith.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Speaker and colleagues, for this opportunity to say my goodbyes. When I first came up here in 1997, I got lots of advice, and I'll pass along a couple of them to you. Remember, the toes you step on today are connected to the derriere you kiss tomorrow. Welcome to the House of Representatives. And I was ready. I could handle that. I had an opponent in the primary, and I barely beat him, but I won the recount. And then in the general, I beat the Speaker's candidate. So I didn't know what I was coming into. And but the moment I was in here, and I saw all the interactions, the joshing, the anger, whatever, drama, I thought, this is a lot like my family, just bigger. So I would love to put the photo up if I can. That's some of my family. And it's my mother's 75th. My husband and I are on the back. It's all the way down. It's 3 times that size now. And thank heavens there's always someone who makes order take place in the House, like Mr. Speaker. And you know what? No matter the struggles, whatever, we were intended by our Constitution to be the large member of the House and to be the most local voices for the people we serve. And for me, looking at stepping away was not an easy choice. But it's time, and I'll say some a little bit later of why. But before I make my remarks, I want to point out to you that when you're up here this long, you have all kinds of family. So I have my family, and my daughter Martha, and if she'll stand. Don't tear up, Melanie. And my sister Kathy Radigan, and then my I guess Capital family, Leisha Johnson, Pam Lewis, Pat Alexander, and who are you? Nicole Chappelle. I finally named her my mom and them because she looks after me. And then also, when I expand this family that I have come to view everybody up here, I've chaired House Natural Resources Committee since 2005. Our issues are real complicated, very hard to discern truth from fiction or anything like that. And this person, Shauna Jones Frierson, came to me, and we were talking of a concept. University of Georgia is a land-grant university, and part of their role is to be available in situations such as this. And I was running into someone telling me they can't vote on that bill, it was a good bill, because my Aunt Betty's cousin 3 streets over said, don't vote on it. And I thought, well, they don't have any information. If you don't have the information you need to refute a statement like that, you're going to get what you get. But Shauna and I, Laura Meadows, University of Georgia, and the Carl Vinson Institute of Government, we sat down to try and figure out how to make this available to our members. And it worked, y'all. We started, I think this is our 11th year, and our goal in the Natural Resource Committee is to go around the state. We are the Natural Resource Committee. So we have benefited so much from seeing all parts of our state, and we understand better the legislation that we have to pass when we do it. So I want to thank the Dobbs Foundation, who helps to fund the Carl Vinson Institute of Government's Georgia House Policy Academy. Because we can go there, we can debate, we can say this isn't going to work, but what we're doing is learning. And when we get so confused on so many of our issues up here, I go, you know, knowledge is what you want. That's what you need. So I'm just very grateful for that. I also want to recognize my committee members and everyone. This is my Capitol family. I mentioned my friends here, but the House Natural Resource Committee, if y'all will stand, you're my family. So, or just wave your hand, or just don't. I mean, I want to thank you, because when you've been together for so long, you know how to work, you know what the problems are going to be. And that, to me, helps to make the House of Representatives extremely strong for the people we represent. I also want to just do some shout-outs to my subcommittee chairs, Vance Smith and John Corbett. They had to carry a lot of tough bills this year, and great hearings, and the solutions were made. And then also, I was trying to let me mention my committee analysts, Anna Smith, David Hartman, Dan O'Connor, the interns, Owen Hockmans and Victor Avila. That's my family, y'all, up here. That's the core. And I think wherever we are and whatever office we're in, that's a subset of this family. And so I like it when we can figure out and find ways to get together, to debate reasonably. And if you can't solve the problem that year, you can do it the next year or whenever. But to give you an idea of, I guess, how long I've been up here, let's see. The speakers of the House were Tom Murphy, Terry Coleman, Glenn Richardson, Mark Burkhalter, David Ralston, Jane Jones, and John Burns. So that's kind of giving you an idea of how many years. The governors were Zell Miller, Roy Barnes, Sonny Perdue, Nathan Deal, and Brian Kemp. Y'all, that's a long time, but I've enjoyed every minute of it. I've enjoyed the interaction. I'm also a school teacher, and I kind of want to say, y'all, you need to act better here and there when things go on, but we are so lucky that we have this as a place where we can function and help the people we represent. So I'll move on now to some of my prepared comments. Today I stand before you with a full heart and deep gratitude as I conclude 30 years of service in the Georgia General Assembly. When I first took this oath of office 3 decades ago, I could not have imagined the journey ahead, the challenges we would face, the progress we would achieve, and the relationships that would shape both my life and my career. Public service is never the work of one individual, never. It's a collective effort of dedicated colleagues, committed staff who are engaged on behalf of the public. I have been so fortunate to be surrounded by all three. Together, the Georgia House of Representatives and the Natural Resource Committee, we have navigated uncertain times, had areas where we can agree and disagree. We have found common ground, And I think everyone on our Natural Resources Committee, we would step forward to help each other out. And that's what leads to easy conversations on a hard subject. And now, just to show you what it was like during my first few years of service, my former friend who encouraged me to run, told me that you won't do anything. You can still run your printing company. You're in the minority party. And so I said, okay. And she was right. I got home by noon. And I started doing all my work. But that changed in 2005. The first bill that was passed by the Georgia Republican Party in the majority was something called, now I'm going to get it right, it was the bill, the Land Conservation Bill. As a state, we were going too fast, and we weren't keeping up and always the best stewards of certain areas of our state. So that was an honor for me to be able to do that. But several good measures followed this bill. Anti-littering legislation. Why is that a problem? You've got a new client coming to your neighborhood. They see trash on the road. Are they going to stop? No. So that was another thing to tackle. That was under Governor Perdue, by the way. That was his initiative. So going on, as we move into different areas in history and decades, when I became this chair in 2005, our state was in serious trouble. We were heading maybe towards a rout. We had unpleasant, horrible relationships with Georgia and Florida. Economic development was a problem. Use of water was a problem. Correct use of water. We were not together. Our farmers were using old techniques, and we were being sued in the U.S. Supreme Court. So it limited all the things that we could do. And we had to begin to figure out what we can do. So the time during the Deal administration was more about water legislation. How do we deal with long-term water wars that we were fighting? How do we solve it? Well, the actions this General Assembly body took with the passage of the State Water Management Planning Act played a critical role in the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to reject Florida's lawsuit. We could breathe just a little bit. And when you hear something like that, it's not solid in your mind, but this harms so many people. We had areas, one was Heard County in my area, we could not get water to them. It was that bad. If you're in Atlanta and you're in the center part of Atlanta, there's an old quarry in there, real deep quarry. Well, y'all, City of Atlanta created a reserve. And I, who's claustrophobic, thought I was just going to go look at it, and they put me on a little tiny train with this thing, and we went in, and it was dark, and, we just rode all the way through. But the point is, given the talents of people, we can solve these problems. This passage of this bill has freed us up as a country, as a state. But the other thing to understand is, well, let me put it to you this way. For our committee and for the well-intended people who are trying to explain to us why we should vote the way we do, they're given certain amount of information, and it's maybe if you verified it, it would be sort of different. But I want to show you something with a photo that explains to you what something looks like when it's brought to me. Let's see if we can get it up there. All right, you have to reverse it, flip it one more time, if you can. No? All right. That's what that is. Let's go back to the first photo. What do you think that is? Now that you've seen the second one. Yeah, it's a wine bottle with light on it, right? No. Look behind it. Dig deep. There's crossbars up there. Look at that shadow. Look, that bottle is the shadow too, but look at the reflection coming through that bottle. What is going on? Well, now show them the second one. All right, those of you who use AI, I want to tell you there's something called Mother Nature that can do it better than you can. Because you look at that Listerine bottle, you look at the shadow of what looks like a wine bottle, and then you begin to see what's happening. The sun was coming through the western window. It refracted the light to create the color, and it created the shadows. Now, I'm giving you that example because I think for a lot of us, especially newer members, how do we figure out how to vote? How do we get the right answers? Oh, no, so-and-so's going to call me. They're going to be mad. And so as I bring this talk to a close, I think it's so important to take time to really learn and understand the issues. If you've got a colleague or a friend who can't, so be it. We win by the majority vote. So I want to end this by saying to the people I have had the honor to serve, thank you. To my colleagues, past and present, thank you for your partnerships and your commitment to the institution. As I step away from this role, I do so with confidence in the future. That's y'all. Sorry. For the Georgia House of Representatives, we are the grounded folks. We ain't running for higher office. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield well.
Chair Lady Smith, why don't you bring your friends? They were not crying earlier, but now they are. Before you come up, you know, I think it's very evident how what your colleagues feel about you, what they think about you. Your longevity in this body speaks volumes to me on your perseverance, how you're able to work with people. You've been through a transition here. And that transition, you've managed to maintain the respect of members that served with you when you came here, and there's some here, and those new members have gained quite an understanding of how you work and what you work on, what's important to you, and because it's important to them. And probably also, I would say, you're very much loved by the members of this House and by the public you've dealt with, and by the members of the people in this building and the people you've dealt with in different agencies. But through all that, you've done something also very, very important to 11 million Georgians. You have protected and you have promoted our environment in this state, our natural environment. I want to thank you personally as a Georgian for standing strong and doing the right thing and making sure the future of our state will be just as sound and just as enjoyable and just as healthy as our past has been. You've met the challenges. Thank you. We love you and we appreciate you and we wish you the very, very best. Thank you. Come on, ladies. She's still giving orders. That won't change. She's done pretty good for a girl from Jessup, Georgia. Pretty awesome. Thank you, Chair Lady Smith. Thank you, members. Chair Lady Smith is going to take her entourage out to the South Annie room. If you would like to walk by and have a photo, you'll be very much welcome to do that. We're going to take just a short break here and let things kind of settle down. Then we'll move on with the rules calendar.